Hi students, today we will have a discussion on the poem Enterprise written by Nazim Sikal. Before entering into the poem, we will have yes, basic understanding about the writer Nazim Sikal. Who is Nazim Sikal? Nazim Sikal is an Indian Jewish poet. He was born in Mumbai in the year 1924. He is from an affluent family. His family background is well-to-do. His father was a professor and his mother a principal of a school which is owned by herself. After his BA English Literature course, he worked as English teacher in India, America, and also in England. He did his higher education in England. He received Sahitya Akademi Award for his collection of poems, Latter Day Songs. Okay, therefore, Sahitya Akademi Award is one of the prestigious award in India, and he was awarded with the Sahitya Akademi Award. And therefore, to that extent, his works are very popular and worthy. His poem dealt with common and mundane themes. His poem dealt with common and mundane themes. Mundane meaning simple day-to-day themes. His themes are very casual. He didn't deal with many complex issues. He has also written plays. His mature poems or an attempt towards seeking the truth. There will always be a quest for truth, search for truth in his poem. His poem comes out with an ultimate truth at the end of towards the concluding part of the poem. Okay. With this small background about the writer, we will get into the poem. The title of the poem is Enterprise. The meaning for the word enterprise is any activity that is undertaken with courage and dare. We call it as enterprise. Okay. With the reference to this poem, what is the enterprise undertaken in this poem? Okay. What is a courageous or daring activity that has been done? Who is doing that? These are all the questions that will be in our mind. And answer for all those questions are this. A group of pilgrims, they have decided to undertake a pilgrimage. There is a group of people and they have decided to go for a pilgrimage and they are on their way to the pilgrimage. And the pilgrims are so energetic and excited. And they are very much excited about their pilgrimage. They are enthusiastic and they are eager, they are active, lively. Their mind is full of joy and excitement. The problems or the difficulties they will be facing when they go on a pilgrimage is nothing before their enthusiasm. Whatever the problem that they face, they will surely overcome. To that extent, they are very enthusiastic and they are very much excited about the process of pilgrimage. Therefore, no problem or difficulty can put an end to their aim. Okay, let us read the lines of the poem. It started as a pilgrimage, exalting minds and making all the burdens light. Okay, it started as a pilgrimage. They are on a way to pilgrimage, and people who are going to the pilgrimage has an exalting mind. They have an elevated mind, and their mind is full of happiness, delight, enthusiasm, and whatnot, and making all the burdens light. Okay, therefore, in the process of pilgrimage, if they come across some difficulties, some burdens, it will be nothing before their enthusiastic mind. And this is what the writer says. And this is the first stage of the pilgrimage. In the first stage, they are bubbling with enthusiasm and positive attitude. Nothing seems to be a burden for them. Even if they come across difficulties, and it will be treated very casually. They will overcome it very casually, and it will not take much effort from their point of view to make the burden nothing. This is how the pilgrimage starts. This is the first stage of the pilgrimage. Okay, and with this enthusiasm, the pilgrims enter into the second stage. It is not as expected. We may be expecting that they are full of energy, enthusiasm. They are very eager, and the pilgrimage will be a cakewalk for them. And then this might have been our expectation, but in the next stage they come across some troubles and difficulties. And the word sun in the text refers to the harsh nature, and it tries to bring down the fire of enthusiasm that was burning in them. They find it difficult to overcome the troubles, but somehow they withstood the pressure. In the second stage, then there is the pressure, and there has been a lot of troubles, problems for them. But somehow or other, they withstand the trouble. They try to overcome the trouble. Okay, the second stage was not a failure for them. They withstood it. Okay, the second stage, as in the words of the writer, the second stage, let us read the lines from the poem. The second stage explored but did not test the call. The sun beat down to match our rage. We stood it very well. Okay, they had problems. The sun refers to in the harshness, in the harsh nature that is around. It may be a tiresome journey. The journey may be very demanding, but somehow or other they withstood the pressure, the external force. Okay. Then we will move forward to the third stage. I thought, observed and put down copious notes on things, the persons sold and bought, the way of serpents and of goats, 3 cities where a sage had taught. In this part of the poem, the third part of the poem, what happens, you see, the pilgrims who were on their way to the pilgrimage, they are taking notes, they are making notes of what is happening on their way. They meet many farmers, peasants, and they are selling. After selling their product, they are buying something which is necessary for them to take to their home. This is happening, and the pilgrims they make a note of what these persons sell and buy, and what is of importance for the pilgrims, and why they have to note. After all, what is bought and sold by the peasants, it is of no use, but they are making a note of it. Okay, therefore this refers to their mindset now. They are giving importance to unworthy details. It is not needed for them, but they are making notes of it. The way of serpent and of goats. On their way, they come across the serpents and goats. The serpents refers to something that is bad. Right from the Milton's Paradise Lost, we know that a serpent is the evil force, something bad, and symbolically here goat refers to something that is good. We consider Jesus Christ as a good shepherd. He's carrying us in the right path. Therefore, he's called as a good shepherd. Therefore, serpent and goats refers to good and bad things. On their way, they come across good and bad things. Both good and bad things. In spite of this, the pilgrimage continues, and they come near 3 cities. In the 3 cities, they come across a sage, a holy man, a wise man, who is teaching something, who is preaching to his followers. But the pilgrims didn't make a note of what the sage say. But they are very busy with other things. In the next part of the poem, you see pilgrims are busy in noting down the ways of farmer, what they bought and sold, the ways of serpents and of goat. They noted down both good and bad things. But they noted down both good and bad things. Their aim is a pilgrimage. There is a kind of a deviation in their aim now. Their mind is not focused towards the pilgrimage. And they are started making notes of something that is not important for them. Started giving importance to both good and bad things they had come across. Then they came to 3 cities. They met a sage. The pilgrims are not bothered about what the sage has been teaching, how they have got distracted from their goal. They waste their energy in doing useless things. Later in the next part of the poem, difference of opinion arose among the pilgrims. They were about to cross a desert. Okay. When they were about to cross a desert, there arose a difference in opinion on how to cross this challenging landscape. Then there's a kind of a disagreement. These pilgrims, they are divided into 2 or 3 groups. A few people say, this is how we have to adapt. And this way we can adapt. This strategy we can adapt. Like that, a difference of opinion comes in, and their ego weakened the integrity of the journey. Okay. They started the journey in a united manner. They are all focused towards one particular aim of successfully completing the pilgrimage. Now they are divided. One of the pilgrims is an intellectual who is known for his stylish prose. When there arose a difference in opinion, this intellectual personality, he leaves the pilgrimage as a result of this disparity, the division among these pilgrims. He has decided to leave the pilgrimage and he moves away from the group. But when the differences arose on how to cross the desert patch, we lost a friend whose stylish prose was quite best of all our batch. A shadow falls on us and grows. Okay, therefore, the poet says a shadow falls on the pilgrimage and the pilgrims. Here, the shadow refers to the shadow of disagreement, shadow of deep disagreement. In the next stage of the pilgrimage, pilgrims were divided into groups, attacked each other, forget their aim. Pilgrimage which has united them. Okay, therefore, after this disagreement among the group of pilgrims, initially they were together one group. Now they have been divided into 2 or 3 groups, and disagreement between disagreement among these groups was there. And after that, we move on to the next stage of the pilgrimage. In the next stage of the pilgrimage, what happens? You see, already they have been divided into groups. So they started attacking each other. One group started attacking another group. They are finding fault with each other, and in the process, they forgot their main aim. Their main aim is to successfully complete the pilgrimage, and which has united this. Actually, this pilgrimage has united all these people, these pilgrims. They are from different family backgrounds, but they have come together as a pilgrims to successfully carry out the pilgrimage. And actually, this pilgrimage has united them, but they have forgotten. They fought among themselves twice. As a result, they lost their ways. They don't know how to travel through and successfully complete their pilgrimage. They have lost their ways. As a result, the goal and purpose of journey are lost. What is the intention of their journey? It has lost. It has been lost. A few quit the group unsatisfied with the leader. Again, this happens. You see, apart from the divisions fight, what happens? You see, a few people they quit in the process of pilgrimage because they are not satisfied with the leader. They say that the leader is incompetent. He is not able to put an end to the disagreement among the group. The poet felt helpless in this situation. Nizam Ezekiel feels he is helpless. He couldn't do anything. He just starts praying. He has belief, faith, complete trust in God. Therefore, he just prays to God to save us. This is what happens. The leader of the group don't know what to do. The leader also, he doesn't have any clarity of thought. He don't know how to manage the current situation. Therefore, he gave false promise, telling that almost we have reached the destination. Okay, and let us read the lines from the poem. A section claimed its liberty to leave the group. A few people, they have left the group. And the poet tried to pray. I tried to pray. Our leader said he smelt the sea. The leader told that the sea is very near. The smell of the sea is coming. Therefore, they are reaching their destination. He said the sea is near. They are near to their destination. Soon they realized it was false, since they didn't reach the destination. Okay, therefore the leader told they are nearing to the pilgrimage spot, but even after many miles they didn't reach the destination. Therefore, the statement made by the leader proved to be false. They were now a group of aimless and hopeless wanderers. Okay, these pilgrims are have now become wanderers. What kind of wanderers? You see, they don't have any aim or hope. They are hopeless. They don't know whether they will successfully complete the pilgrimage or not. They have forgotten their aim. We noticed nothing as we went. A strangling crowd of little hope. They have forgotten their aim. Why they have started their journey? And they ignored what the thunder meant. They ignored what the thunder meant. Here, thunder refers to something that is positive. And if there is thunder and lightning, rain will come. And rain is good for human race. Actually, we need rain. Then only the rainwater is a nourishing and a life-giving product. Therefore, thunder symbolically here means their inner hope, their hope and inner self. And they have to listen to their conscience and say, are we traveling in the right path? And is it correct for us to have this kind of disagreement, this kind of fight, this kind of conflict among ourselves? They should question their conscience and they should come to a conclusion, but they ignored their conscience, their inner word, their inner self, what their conscience says. They ignore what their conscience tells. This is what's meaning. This is what means they ignored what the thunder meant. Now their condition is deplorable. You see how they have started the journey, with a noble aim they have started now, and they have come down to a state. This particular state is now deplorable. They don't even have their basic amenities. They are deprived of their common needs like soap. They have been traveling days together. Every day they have to fulfill their routine activity, getting up in the morning and taking bath for washing their hands. They don't even have soap because then the people, they have been divided. They lost their energy and vigor. Some couldn't even walk. Some of the people, they are to that extent, they are very tired. Some were broken, some merely bent. Some couldn't walk, some were bent down with pain. Their enthusiasm faded away. Their burden is unbearable. And finally, we reached the place. We hardly know why we were there. Finally, they have succeeded in their attempt. The few people who remained throughout there in the group, they have reached the pilgrimage spot, their destination. But they hardly know why they were there. Why after all? Why actually they have started this pilgrimage? Why they have reached this particular place? They have forgotten. They hardly know. Finally they reach their destination, but they don't know why they have come here, why they have made all this effort, why they have burdened themselves in undertaking this pilgrimage. They don't know. But there is not joy of fulfillment. And they have successfully fulfilled the journey, completed their task, but it is not. It didn't give any pleasure for them. There is no joy. Wonder why they undertook this journey. They have been wondering why, after all, we have undertaken this journey. Why we have inflicted this much pain in ourselves. This is a kind of question in everyone's mind there. Now it seems to be meaningless and unworthy. They forgot their noble aim. Everyone is hopeless. None of them found anything heroic in their pilgrimage. They didn't feel that their activity is heroic. The poet says living at home with inner satisfaction is the biggest achievement of all. And now the poet comes to a conclusion and tells that instead of making this tedious journey, they would have stayed at home itself. It would have given them some kind of inner satisfaction for them. And this is the ultimate conclusion the poet comes to. Home is where we have to gather grace. Mrs. Ezekiel says in the concluding line of the poem, home is where we have to gather grace. Journey started with enthusiasm, but here in the end it ends with grief, despair, regret and hopelessness. After reaching the destination, after reaching the holy place of the God, what should be there in our mind? Our mind should be brimming with happiness, enthusiasm, then joy. We should be very glad. It should be a pleasurable experience. But on the other hand, what happens? You see, the end is full of grief, despair, regret and hopelessness. One cannot achieve real happiness by undertaking such a long journey. The poet says, you cannot achieve real happiness by traveling a long distance like this. Stay at home. Happiness would be achieved by doing right and good things in life. Stay at home and do good things and the right things, and your happiness will come to you. Why you are doing this painstaking? Why you are undergoing this painstaking journey? What is the need? Instead of that, stay at home and do things and good things to all. So therefore, the poem has allegorical meaning, the allegorical or symbolic meaning of the poem, and the journey stands for our life. Okay, we are in a cutthroat competitive world. Principles and ethics are often evaded. In this cutthroat competitive world, we are worried about the end, not about the mean in which we achieve success. Therefore, no people is people are not cared about what principles or ethics they are following in their life. They want to achieve success, that's all. No matter how the success is achieved. We are leading our life with a goal. We lead our life with a goal. Initially, we have a good goal in our life and we start leading our life with a good goal. As we proceed, we pay attention to petty things. This is what happens in our real day-to-day life. We start our life with a noble aim. We have got admission in the college with a noble aim of achieving great success in our education. But later on, we are paying attention to some petty things. We all know meaning for the word petty. Petty is very small, something that is small, not important, unworthy, unimportant things. We forget our goal. In the process, what happens, you see, while we are paying attention to unimportant things, we forget our goal. We just reach the end of our life without attaining our goal. In this particular poem, The Enterprise, the goal is reaching the holy place and experience the holy pleasure, happiness, bliss in that at the concluding part of the pilgrimage they should undergo, and their experience should be full of bliss. Okay, but on the contrary, they come out with only despair. Therefore, in the end, without attaining our goal, we just finish off our life. We have led our life without realizing the inner meaning of the life. Why, after all, we are born in this earth? Why God has created us? What is the inner meaning of our life? We didn't ask any question. We don't ask those philosophical questions. On the other hand, we simply lead our life mechanically, and we reach the end of life. That is it. We have led our life superficially. Home or self-discovery lies within each and every one of us. Therefore, the writer says, home is a place where we have to gather grace. Here, home refers to our soul, our inner heart. From our soul, we can find out, we can discover our own self. Who am I? To answer to this particular question. The aim of our life is to find the answer for this question. Who am I? Why am I born in this world? What is my responsibility? What are the things I have to carry out? Okay, this is self-discovery lies within each and every one of us. It lies within us. And we cannot travel all the way from here to some holy places. Undertaking pilgrimage will not reveal self-discovery. Okay, this is the point that the poet would like to convey. Self-discovery is subjective and not objective. We have to discover our own self. Nobody from the outer world will come and say, hey, you are like this. No? Objectivity is not there. Objectively, we cannot come to a conclusion. Only by having an introspection about ourselves, self-introspection, then we can have self-discovery. Need search all over the world. We need not search all over the world for our self-discovery. Peace, happiness, self-realization, self-discovery, everything lie within us. It is within us. It is not without. It is within. Therefore, look inward, within you, and search for your real self, and come out successfully. This is the theme of the poem Enterprise. With this, we will conclude. We will come to a conclusion. Thank you.